Let's talk about heartbreak for a second. This piece of property behind us is one that we thought we had. Long story short,
Gut punched.
totally gut punched.
Carry on, carry on, carry on. Love will find its home. Carry on, carry on, carry on. Love will find its home.
Welcome back to No Ordinary Path. I'm Kristen. This is my husband, John.
Handsome husband, John.
Handsome trophy husband, John. We have been on the road now for 2 years chasing his travel nurse jobs all over the country, living a not so ordinary life. And now we are on the hunt for a new home base to come back to as we continue our travels.
That's right.
It's been a little bit stressful, actually very stressful.
Especially for the kids.
Yes, they have boycotted riding in the car anymore. They're very tired of hunting for properties.
Well, we find that whatever happens anytime that I'm off lately, instead of enjoying the area like we want to, what we've had to do is go search for all these different properties.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of car trips.
Yeah, and it started out being like super fun and exciting, and then it kind of got a little daunting.
Yep.
And yeah,
After you've gone through 10 and then 20 and then 40 and then I think we hit the 50 mark maybe a couple weeks ago of different properties. That's how much we're going out. We do 4 or 5 a day, then I'm off.
to really bring you in on the amount of gut punching that happened to us this week, we have to take you back a few weeks ago, and we were keeping all of this on the down low because we were under contract on a piece of land, and so we wanted to tell you that story and then what happened.
This one listing that was kind of convoluted and had all this other different stuff in it, and had another little spot in there that said, I have more properties. Call me if you're interested, that aren't listed. And so we took the leap and we called this gentleman and said, hey, this is what we're looking for. And he's like, yeah, I've got this, this 11 acres that you guys should come look at.
Yeah. Well, what it was a whole development. He was a developer.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was developing a neighborhood, so to say, of all unrestricted properties, of all 10 plus acre unrestricted properties. There were 10 lots, and he was building roads into it, and he had sold 2 of them already, and we were welcome to come up and take a look. So we did.
And I got to mention real quick, because in the beginning of this, I was a little confused what unrestricted means. So if you're not familiar with that term, basically it's just that you can come onto the property and kind of do whatever you want. For us, it's a big deal because a lot of subdivisions, a lot of home developments, places like that don't allow you to live in the RV on the property. And so we're constantly looking for what's called unrestricted property.
Yeah. So we go up there and we look at lots 3 and 4, and he kind of gives us a tour, and we're not really honestly, we were underwhelmed at that point.
It was very raw land, and it looked like all this stuff behind us, guys. It was just forest.
The view that you had was of the paper mill in Canton.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, it would be really beautiful if there wasn't smokestacks right in the middle of our view.
Right.
So we left, and we weren't really that impressed, but a month goes by, and he emails us back, and he says,
another 30 properties.
Right. And he says, you won't even recognize the place. You guys should come back out and check it out again.
The other flip side of this coin is the financing aspect of it. We were having some difficulty being a travel nurse. If you guys know about the taxes and stuff like that, it's a little difficult right now to get a loan. And so he was offering seller financing, which is easier.
But we went back and we checked it out again, and he says, well, the owners from lot number 2 have backed out because they own a salon and their business is really hurting due to COVID, and so they backed out of their contract. So now this lot is open, and this lot had a big clearing in it already.
Yeah.
So a lot of the clearing had already been taken place. There was a nice drive up to it.
Well, let's do this. Let me lay out the magic for you. Nice about it is the property was shaped like an L, and so there's the upper lot that was up higher on a different ridge where we could build the house, and we would be separate from the lower portion, which was already cleared and had a nice flat level area where you could turn an RV around really easily, about building like an RV port there, or a little cabin there, or another RV pad or something like that. In fact, you came up with an amazing little design one day. Was bringing in power. Yeah. We were still gonna have to do a well and a septic, but that wasn't, that's pretty typical for any kind of mountainous area.
Yeah, and it had blackberries and peaches and
peach
apples.
trees, apple trees, cherry trees.
Cherry trees. I mean, it was just like the land of plentiful.
Yeah, and the view wasn't of the paper mill; it was on the other side of the ridge, and so it looked off towards the Smoky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, it looked west, right to the right. And it would be an hour away from the visitor center, the Eastern Visitor Center of Smoky Mountain. So we were like really getting excited about this. We drew out plans. We came up with a cabin idea from Pinterest / one of the groups on Facebook.
Yep.
An idea that we kind of developed from that. And we went and we measured out the property. We went to the property so many times.
Yeah. We were ready to throw down.
We were going to be working with a lawyer, and that part of our down payment was going toward closing costs to pay this lawyer.
It all seemed pretty legit, guys. We checked that part out of it with the closing costs and all the laws and made sure, and that seemed legit. I was okay with it. The
contract was very well put together. Yep. We were agreeable to everything in the contract.
It's completely and utterly under contract.
Now, there were some provisions in the contract that allowed us to get out of it if we needed to.
Yep.
And we did use them.
Yes.
But one of them was that we had to be able to bring Wendy up to that spot. There were some really tight turns up the mountain. So we needed to make sure that we could do that. And we also needed to make sure that we could get a perk test for the septic system.
We are standing outside of the Haywood County Courthouse and Government County Building, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're here today because I need to go procure a authorization form for both the well, the perk test, and the septic system
for our new piece of property.
They told me to go to a Tractor Supply store. I was told, okay, what you want to do is find the Tractor Supply store, and it's in the same building. It's not, but it is, and they're gonna have the permits for you. And sure enough, there it is, right there. So. Permits in hand. Moving on to the next step. What you doing, sweetheart?
I'm writing a check. The last time we submitted a big check to something, it was for Wendy. You can check it out, this video up here. That was exciting. This is exciting too.
Yes.
We're writing our down payment. Yeah, it's our down payment on our new piece of land.
On our new piece of
in
land.
North Carolina.
That's right.
We're here at the property today. We're marking out the open space and measuring how big an area we have to work with, and trying to get some better drone footage and pictures so we have a clearer understanding of the shape of our property, because we meet with a builder next Friday, which is like in 5 days, and we need to have kind of an idea of where we want to lay out our carport and our small cabin. There's no trails on the property yet, but John is...
Hey, this is our nature walk that we made.
Yeah, the boys started the nature trail, and John is hacking one out so we can get to the top of the ridge and see what kind of view that we have from up there.
This is worth it, y'all. I got 3 thorns stuck in my same thumb.
Oh, bummer.
Black raspberries.
They're blackberries, and they are everywhere. The upper lot is going to have a spectacular view of the mountains at sunset. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing.
Trouble getting down. Oh, there's a fence, Dad. There's a
Yeah, that might be the property line. And there's a tiny little bit of a view here, but in order to get it from that point, which would be really neat. Now, maybe if you took it that way a little bit, you might, because the trees thin out and you're a little higher, so you might get that view, which would be maybe be a fun little walk for somebody up the hill. But I also think that if we go farther that way, you may have another view just like towards the paper mill.
Boys are down already.
Yep. The time came for the night to take Wendy up there, and we had contacted the developer first and made sure that he was okay with us spending the night there because we were going to meet with the builder the next morning, and we were super excited about all of this. And I was going to clear a little bit more brush so that the builder could kind of take a look at where we wanted this cabin to be built, and we could flag things. So we bought this nice, cool, expensive like brush cutter. I was all stoked about it.
This is a big deal. We are headed to our property that we are under contract on, and part of the stipulation to closing is that we have to be able to get Wendy up on the property. So,
And thus, Wendy is attached. We are driving towards the property to stay for a night or two, and just to get a feel for it. And all this was approved, of course, by the owner of the land currently.
yep.
And and then like Friday we meet with a contractor to talk a little bit about some plans.
Yeah.
And so yes, a very exciting
Exciting day.
couple of days ahead of
Yes.
us.
And
with
very
some-
hot.
Yes, potential heat and humidity and sweating and other good times.
So we're going to be boondocking in 90-degree weather.
But the generator is working. I got it all set up. We're good to go. We have plenty of fuel.
You and Aaron are what?
Me and Aaron are gonna bushwhack.
That sounds like a plan. Gonna navigate this interesting drive.
To get to it, you have to go through an easement of this other property, which no one currently lives in, but there is a house, and there's a beautiful barn that has been used as a wedding venue. And the barn is like here, or the barn is like here, and the house is here, and there's the drive that goes right between the two of them.
Here is the big moment. We are going to go up our drive. At the bottom here is this like event center that we have to come through. It's an easement and we have to go through. We're gonna see if we can make it up. Fingers crossed. Woo! Oh my gosh, it cleared it. Scary, how scary. Cleared it. Barely. Cleared it though.
There's two gates that you have to go through to get, from the initial property behind where that fancy barn is. There's a little cattle gate that you have to open, a little electrical cattle gate that you have to open. And then once you get up to the top, there's another farm gate that you have to open. Now, we were told that all that was going to get replaced with electric gates and something someday, whatever. So we go through here and we meet the owner of the property down below. And he kind of...
Neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor. And he kind of corners us. And at first comes out, I guess we could say pretty...
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive, hot to trot, whatever, like... What are you doing on the property and that kind of stuff? Well, we're buying this lot up here. We're closing on it, and yeah, we're going to be neighbors, and trying to be all excited and friendly and that kind of stuff. And he immediately launches into this, you don't have rights to go up there because this easement is not properly done and it's illegal. Basically ranted at us to say that, you know, he's going to make it as bad as possible because he's really angry with the developer. They had initially, when they bought that land, he told her that he was going to just be a neighbor and they weren't going to build anything up there, you know, maybe a small house, and it would just be him and coming up and down. And so they built this, you know, $500,000 wedding venue barn, really pretty. And then now he's putting in a subdivision, and they've had to stop the wedding venues because of all the construction of everything. And people are going to be coming up and down. And so there's this feud between these two guys.
And it's a legal feud because
both
sides say that there's a lawsuit pending and all this stuff, but none of that was disclosed.
None of that was disclosed to us.
Yeah.
And we, you know, the guy's like, I'm going to run cattle between the two gates, and sure, there's always going to be cows in here crapping all over the road.
I'm going to line the road with junk cars, and believe me, I have plenty of junk cars. I'm going to bring them in here, and I'm going to line it so that it can't be more than 16 feet wide.
And it's my property, and I can do whatever I want, and it's going to look ugly and all, you know. And so we were just like, it was crushing, you guys. A gut punch isn't even an adequate way to, I mean, like, we were super excited about this. Man, this sucks. I don't know, there was a dream here, and unfortunately it died today. Apparently there's pretty bad blood in between the owner down below and the guy that's up here. Got cornered by the people that were at the bottom, that owned the bottom property, who basically said that we needed to Google this guy, that we needed to check our stuff, and that there was an exceptionally large lawsuit being filed tomorrow.
And that the property that we are purchasing has no right-of-way at all.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with a lawsuit and the potential for something big and bad happening to land that we already bought, so we're gonna back out.
To be honest, we're feeling pretty defeated.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I love you.
I love you too.
It was going to be a fulfillment of another dream. We have we are all about dreams on this channel and chasing them, and this was going to be another one. And then to have that happen on the night, the eve of all this exciting, it's all real, we've paid for all the permit, the builder's coming tomorrow, like all this stuff was going to happen.
Yeah.
To have that hit you, and then you know, we got up there and we decided to stay the night because
we were there and it was dark.
We were there and it was dark. And so, you know, we ended up staying the night, and we're just like, I don't even know what to do now, you know? So we didn't feel right about it because technically the guy down below says, you know, you don't even have a right to go up there. After we talked with him for a little while, he, you know, turned around and wasn't so aggressive and was kind of nice and ended up talking to his wife, and she...
Well, usually the tone changes when John says I'm a travel nurse, and then she turned out to be a nurse in Haywood County, and...
Anyway, so they ended up being kind of nice to us, and they're like, yeah, just take your family up there for the night, that's fine. Go pick some
blackberries.
Go pick some blackberries on our property, or, you know, I'm like, okay, great. You know, the property that I was going to close on, I guess I'll go pick my blackberries. And so we got up the next morning and just didn't feel right about even being there, so we called the builder immediately and got that canceled, left at like 8 in the morning, packed up at like, we got up at 7 o'clock, heartbroken, just really disappointed, decided to leave before anyone got there, just didn't want to deal with it. You know, called the developer and said, look, this is what I'm facing, this is what I found out. As you might imagine, he was upset too. He's like, oh, you guys are being harassed. Yes, I've had dealings with this guy in the past.
And we don't know who to believe, and so we just decided to walk away.
We just decided to walk away, and we were fortunate that we were good dealings with all the parties, and so, you know, I talked honestly with him, and he had the lawyer shred the deposit money.
Stop payment just in case.
Just in case. And I was able to call the county and get the $500 septic permit shredded as well, and they canceled that check, and it was basically, in the long run, it was like it never happened, which is good for us.
Yeah.
But we're still kind of reeling a little bit from the loss of it, and trying to figure out what comes next.
We're super relieved and grateful that happened before we closed.
Oh, jeez, yes.
Because I think it would have made everything really complicated had we closed and then realized that we had no access to our own property.
Yeah.
So, So in that aspect, and also this feels a little bit like Strike 2, because if you remember from an episode before, we fell in love with a property that we called the Max Patch property, and we also took Wendy up there and found out we couldn't take her up on the property.
We got some good footage of it. It's right
Yeah.
up here if you
Yeah.
haven't seen that episode. It was real steep, and the backside of Wendy hit, which she still drugged.
She did
here,
drag,
too,
drag
on that
a little
one.
bit on this one, but
She's long.
the thing we found out with Strike 1 was that we were thinking way too much like regular American dream, build a big huge house and have a mortgage and go back to work forever, and that's, I mean, that's not, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just not what we want. And so we realized that we needed to look for something else, and then this one came up and we got all excited about having like the potential for that house in years to come, but an area for the RV for now. And so this was kind of Strike 2, and so now we're on to
Well, it's
the
kind of
next thing.
it's kind of like this. I feel like in some way I have a dream that's encased in this little like marble, and somewhere in there is a good picture of it. And what's happening is God's just chiseling parts of it off at a time, you know. And
Yes.
unfortunately, I have to go through the breaking in order to see it.
You think you want this, but you have
Yes.
to dig deeper
No,
because it's
I have to
really
get this
inside
big,
there.
This
That's
big
what you
chunk
really
off
want.
first. And so I'm hoping that now that we've had some more refining and stuff like that, we have talked more about what we really wanted from this and what we were the most excited about this. And I think it's been refined even further. We're not ready to leave this area. In fact, because of all of this, I will say, we have decided to extend here. This will actually be the first contract extension that I have done in our travels.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited to see this area in the fall because it is really known for being absolutely gorgeous. So we'll have some
Yeah.
beautiful footage for you guys of all the trees and things like that as they change. But we aren't really ready to leave this area yet and just say, never mind, this is not the land for us. You know, we're not done here.
That's all.
Okay.
That's it. We had our pity party. Through all of this, we're still trying to get out and explore the area, so we do really appreciate your comments and suggestions on places to go see. The video that we were going to put out this week was actually some things that we have gone and seen.
Yeah.
But this has been so heavy on our minds that we were just like, we have to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
But we are going to show you some more Asheville area awesome things to see in the next coming weeks, so stay tuned for that.
This is our story, and we appreciate you being here for our story.
For
too.
the ups and the downs.
That's right.
'Cause this was a downer, but there's only one way to go. There's only one way where there's only one way.
Is where we're going, sure?
There's only
How many
one-
beers did you have last night?
Too many. I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's only one direction to go when you hit the bottom, and that is back up.
That's
so
true.
we're on our way up.
So as always, guys, thank you for being here.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Anything else?
Nope. I think
Nope.
that's all for today. It's
All
a
right.
lot for today.
All right, guys.
All right. We'll see you out. No.
No.
Ready?
yeah. No, you're going to do it by yourself.
Oh, I'm gonna do it for myself.
Solo.
All right. Well, we'll see you out there.
Things will work out when in